Many people immigrate to the USA every year for a multitude of reasons, whether it be for work, for family, or for necessity. And no matter where they're from, there are bound to be a few amongst the many that don't speak our language, and won't be able to communicate with other American citizens as well as they would like. But no matter the race, ethnicity, or background, the working class of America is the very backbone to our economy and society, producing the resources for our country, working hard and doing the jobs most of us couldn't and wouldn't do. It isn't a matter of language, it's a matter of integrity, of those open-minded enough to accept it. Any healthy, growing society is brimming with immigrants, and the evidence traces back to the very beginning of the United States of America, where the country was even less diverse than it is now. Immigrants today are putting down roots across the United States, in contrast to trends seen 50 years ago. In the 1960s, 2/3 of the states had populations in which less than 5% of individuals were foreign-born. Even recently, they continue to add trillions of dollars to the U.S. gross domestic product, or GDP. So we aren't letting something as small as a language barrier stop us from having a flourishing country, and neither should you. In this podcast, we've interviewed immigrants from various backgrounds, all of which speak their native language. So welcome to The Experience of Immigration and How We Can Help Immigrants by Maya Korn,
Rayma Sheikh,
Amira Zhao,
and Mira Iyer.
So moving on to the first question. What was your first impression when you came to America?
I came to America in 1996, and I lived in many places in the world, namely Senegal and France. One of the things that really impressed me when I got here was the size of everything. I landed in Texas, and from the cars to the freeway to the houses, it looks like everything was bigger here in America. Another thing that really caught my attention also was at night, how the abundance of lights in the streets and everywhere else.
Was English a struggle for you when you first arrived?
English as the language, I understood a little bit, couldn't fluently converse. But there is a big difference between the English that we spoke and learned at school and American English or the spoken English here. So it was a struggle understanding and actually trying to just slow myself down or what I was hearing to kind of make sense of it. But it was not too bad.
Do you believe that immigration laws in America are strict or should be more strict?
I believe that they're strict and definitely strict enough. When we're talking about a country that actually was founded by immigrants, the laws here, when you think about them, are pretty strict. With that said, there always is a legal path to gain what I would call, what is called really legal residency. But in a nutshell, yes, the laws are strict enough.
Okay. What made you come to America?
I came to America to further my education. I came here to actually go to school. I started in France and ended up here finishing in my MIS. So education and also pursuit of a better opportunity in general get me to America.
Okay. Do you believe that immigrants, especially those who don't speak English well, are treated unfairly?
I believe that anytime there is some kind of a language barrier, the waves, let's say, don't flow right. So as an immigrant who actually did not master the language, it could be really tough, especially in places where the patience is not there. Sometimes people living here in America just don't realize or lack the perspective that there are many, many other languages that are spoken around the world. And even though English is the main language, many other people express themselves using other languages.
Do you believe English was necessary to learn for coming to America?
It helps, definitely. I believe that when you go somewhere, you definitely want to align yourself with the culture, the custom, and the language is pretty much basis of all that. So it makes it easier for you to integrate, for you to assimilate and actually be part of the society. But I wouldn't call it necessary or mandatory.
Do you go online and use the internet often?
Very much so. A lot.
All right. Do you think learning English has helped you navigate the online world?
I was learning English as I was actually getting introduced to the internet in 1996. So it definitely did help. but there was not such a learning curve really between my learning of English language and the use of the internet. They both came together.
Okay. Have you had any negative experiences online?
That's a tough one. I want to say no.
No? Okay.
No.
What do you think could help you better navigate online?
I consider myself a pretty savvy online browser, working in IT and also dwelling with the online world. But something that could maybe help me navigate better online was if we actually had some kind of artificial intelligence that will line up not only the browser, but allow you also to just speak your searches and use some kind of algorithm to take you quicker to what you're looking for.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So, what was your first impression when you came to America?
Well, it was a strange country because I had never left India before. So when I came, everything was different. But slowly I got used to and enjoyed it. And now I like it.
Was English a struggle for you when you first arrived?
No.
No.
No, not at all, because I'm a registered nurse and midwife, and all my training was in English in India, so I could speak very fluently, and so no problem at all.
Do you believe that the immigration laws of America are strict or should be more strict?
No, they should not be more strict, but they are strict, which is right in one way, because a lot of non-immigrants people are coming, so it's a problem. So I think it's good to be strict to find out who is coming and who is not. That's what my opinion is.
What made you come to America?
Well, my husband wanted to, he's a orthopedic surgeon. He wanted to come for further some trainings, and so then we decided to come. And this is how we came, and we got settled here. We have children. It's been a long time since we left India, so it's hard to go back. And this is just like a house to us, a country to us. So we are settled, we are happy, we have grandchildren, which we love them and all that. So that's what it is.
Do you believe immigrants, especially those who don't speak English well, are treated unfairly?
Well, that is true, because the people who don't know English and all that, how they are going to work, how they are going to communicate with the people. And they are not educated people who come. So that's why the immigration people, they are kind of strict about that, because when they come, what are they going to do? So people still come and they go take some English classes and everything, but they don't do too good. That's, it is.
So do you believe English is necessary to learn for coming to America?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely, without English should not come, because the problem with the communication to work, and so that's very important.
Do you go online or use the internet often?
I use the internet, online, both things, which is good, handy sometimes. So I use it.
So do you think learning English has helped you navigate the online world?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Have you had any negative experiences online?
No.
No?
So far, no, I did not have any.
What do you think could help you better navigate online?
I don't know what is good, because I just use it what I need. I'm not too much into that. I'm an old lady.
What do you do online?
Well, online I check my products if I need to order anything, and online I go check the airline tickets, hotels. For the traveling, I do mainly online, and I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So this will be part of our English podcast about immigration.
Okay.
So, first question is, when did you move to the U.S. and from where?
I moved to the U.S. in 1971 from Gambia.
And what was your first impression when you came to America?
I mean, I really liked it. It was very impressive. I liked, so many opportunities, so many things that were out there that I've never experienced before, especially going to high school, finishing high school. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Was English a struggle for you when you first arrived?
Not really. I would say a little bit, because American English is different from the standard English and Queen's English that I learned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit, not too much.
All right.
But I normally speak English, yeah.
So what was your first language?
My first language is Creole. Creole, Creole.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we spoke. Mm-hmm.
Do you think language barriers can be a big part of why and how immigrants navigate online? Like, is it harder for immigrants to navigate online because of the English barrier or like language barrier?
Oh, yes, of course. If you don't understand English, you just cannot follow the online instructions as much, and not to talk less about the spoken English, So, yeah, I think it's a barrier for most of, people with language problems.
Do you know any family members that have gone through the struggles of that?
Yes, with technology or just with English in general.
English barriers and technology?
Yeah, my mother-in-law, she had problems just with the spoken English language because she didn't speak English. She was the only one that I knew of.
Yeah. Have you been scammed online, or do you know anyone that has been scammed online because they're not as fluent in English, or like the language barrier causes them to be scammed more easily?
Well, I don't know them personally, but I've learned about them. And I do know that there was attempts. There are many times they did attempted to scam me online, but I just knew what to do.
All right.
Because, yeah.
And what are some ways to improve like online safety for people that have this language barrier, or for just safety in general for immigrants that deal with a lot of injustice and like when it's unfair for them?
Well, there should be some kind of organization or people in general that I think people should get acquainted with, or, institutions that can teach people for free, that when you come here, you can learn the language, you can get to know about technology that's used here more frequently. And so once you familiarize yourself with that, you'll be able to afford not to be scammed online.
All right. And do you think online organizations could be like considered helpful?
Somewhat, I believe somewhat it can be. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you know of any?
Really, no, I don't, but I think you have to do a lot of research. But I feel before you go online, you have to do some community research so that you'll be able to acquaint yourself in the same community that you live.
Would raising awareness about how there's injustice towards immigrants cause a benefit for them?
Mm-hmm. I think there should be, because this should be something that people should know, because it brings a lot of frustration when people are not aware, especially in these days. Society has changed a lot, so people have to raise awareness to learn, to acclimate themselves in this society, to know what to do, so that through the neighborhood and papers and newspapers, all that could help you to get acquainted and raise awareness of other facilities or other entities that can help you.
All right. Well, that's it for the interview. Thank you so much.
Immigrants living in America are being constantly harassed for numerous issues. Whether it be their lack of English or citizenship, our society should be helping them tackle this difficult obstacle. Having to learn a rather complex and chaotic language while working under extremely long, hard laboring hours is something many Americans could never do. Immigrants can visit the MPI, Migration Policy Institute, to learn more about health insurance coverage, workforce characteristics, and temporary visas. They can also visit the CIS organization, the Center for Immigration Studies, which informs people on the inequitable statistics of being an immigrant versus the average American citizen, including the fact that a large share of immigrants have low levels of formal education. Of adult immigrants ages 25 to 65, 28% have not completed high school compared to the 8% of natives. With immigrants already at a disadvantage in many different aspects, we must help them so they can take advantage of. Our job as today's youth is to protect these people as best as we can, whether it's from simply talking to them or referring them to online resources. This concludes our podcast of The Experience of Immigration and How It Can Help Immigrants, broadcasting from the High School of Performing and Visual Arts on April 27th, 2018.